Now, new satellite imagery has revealed the size and spread of so-called re-education camps in China's northwest.
The Australian Strategic Policy Institute has identified the expansion of 28 detention camps used to indoctrinate the region's Muslim population. Fergus Ryan is a cybersecurity analyst at ASPI and he joins us now. Good morning, Fergus, and thanks so much for joining us. So tell us what the satellite imagery has shown.
Well, Virginia, what we have done with this project is we have collected different satellite imagery and then matched that with other documentary evidence that we've been able to find on the web. It's all open source information, and what we have done is put it together in a database where we have cross-referenced those different points of data to create a list where we can say that with a very high degree of certainty, these 28 camps that we have identified are being used in this internment camp system. So when we're looking at the satellite images, we're seeing pictures of facilities that have become highly securitized. And by that I mean there are watchtowers, there's barbed wire or razor wire fencing, and there's multi-perimeter barriers around these facilities. And then when it comes to the actual documentary evidence, we're talking about videos, we're talking about photos, Chinese language articles, government tenders and other official documents that refer to this system, which is sort of euphemistically called by the authorities in China as education, transformation through education centres. And by linking all these different points of data together, we've tried to create a picture of just how much this has grown in recent months.
An estimated 2 million Uyghurs and other Muslims have apparently been rounded up and detained in these camps. Do we know what goes on in there?
I think that the number that the UN has put out is more around the 1 million mark, but because this whole process has been shrouded in secrecy, it's very difficult to have exact numbers. But what we have been able to do with our database is to look at each of these facilities and actually count the floor space and see how that has absolutely ballooned in recent months. So we've seen it grow 465% in the time that we have looked at it.
Well, the history of modern China really is a history of re-education and camps of punishment and gulags. This goes back a very long way to the Cultural Revolution. But the existence of this now, and given that we do have this nailed down and proven, should it have a consequence for the nature of the relationship between Australia and China?
I think that with the sort of cumulative effect of all this evidence that has come out from researchers around the world that we have put into this single database, we have already seen how that has put pressure on the Chinese government to move from an absolute, complete, outright denial that this was happening to now they're more on a PR offensive. And I think what is really worrying about this is that the structures that are being built here, they look very permanent. And really chillingly, we are not seeing that many stories about detainees who have gone through the system and have come out. Those stories do exist, but they really are few and far between. So this looks like something that is set to continue for a long time. And now that the evidence is out there, the onus really is on the rest of the world, including Australia, but also other like-minded countries, to really put forward a statement of concern about the terrible human rights violations that are happening in Xinjiang province.
Fergus Ryan, good to talk to you this morning. Thank you.
Thanks for having me.